So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the call tonight. And tonight we've got a very special guest in National Group Leader Derek Thomas, who's going to be teaching us all about how to plan your diary and everything like that. Because we've seen some fantastic activity this month on the lots and lots of people qualifying for hampers. We've got the end of the Epsom promotion tomorrow. So if you're stretching for that, do put in that extra little bit that you may need to qualify for that. And we've got Paris finishing off as well. Lots of people finishing off for that. And then we've got Prague starting on the first. So lots and lots of activity. And one of the biggest challenges when you're in this business is how do you fit it all in? How do you balance the day job, the kids, the husbands, the wives, the in-laws, the outlaws, all that weird and wonderful stuff that we have to sort of juggle and try and fit appointments in as well. And probably in the 22 years in the business that I've been, probably one of the best exponents of that has been Derek Thomas there, who somehow, as a busy head teacher with kids, and managed to cram everything in, which is probably led one of the reasons why he's managed to get to the lofty heights of national group leader. So welcome to the call, Derek. And how has your first couple of weeks been as a national group leader? Have you been enjoying that sort of like privilege?
It's been amazing. You don't realise how many people are really genuinely pleased for you. It's just the calls and the congratulations and the bottles of wine and cards. It's just blown us away, Lloyd. Really. We have
Fantastic.
a wonderful team, as you know, and they've been very supportive. They put me 2 nights away in one of my favourite hotels as well. So they're trying to send me away now.
Yes, well, so as I alluded to, one of the most difficult things could be in planning your day, organising your diary. And I know for years, because we saw it in the early days, you had quite a system for planning and organising stuff like that. And I'm delighted to say you're going to just share some top tips with us today.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to do that, Lloyd. I think all of us are busy people these days, aren't we? There's so much going on, and we've all got sort of 3,000 friends on Facebook to connect with as well, on top of all
Yes.
the other things that we have to do. But yeah, I've got a system going, and let me make this absolutely clear. I am probably one of the worst in terms of timekeeping and remembering things.
Okay.
Which is why I had to come up with this. Because I don't know about you, like you do a lot of football with your boy and stuff. But
Yeah.
when you're getting a phone call at 7:30 in the evening, and I'm in a governor's meeting, and my wife is saying, "Have you picked your son up yet from the playing fields? Because his game finished an hour ago. Uh,
Okay.
he's the only one left
Right.
field in Cardiff, in not a salubrious area of Cardiff,
Yeah.
um, to go home and have to face an Italian wife. You sort of that's dangerous.
Wow.
So I had to get something going, and yeah, I'm happy
Okay.
to share that with you. But the whole thing about time is that we all try and master time and control it, but none of us can, because time's incontrollable. It happens with us or without us. And so I think the key about this is making the most of the time that you do have.
Okay.
And that's what I'll probably run through. And
So you're
if,
not going to share with us how we can get 30 hours out of a day or anything like that, is it?
unfortunately, unfortunately, we all have the same. Believe it or not, even Richard Branson has 24 hours in a day.
Okay.
So yeah, but that's the beauty of this business, because as we've seen, and I had a call actually earlier in the week. My bank manager wanted to know what the hell was going on, because we had a nice little bonus arrive.
Okay.
And it's funny, isn't it? When money's come into your account, they're very keen on helping you sort of direct it to schemes and whatever.
Yeah.
I said, no, I'm okay, thank you. I'm taking my team away on a nice holiday in Lake Garda with it, so it's going to stay there.
Right. So, what have you got for us? Are you going to just give us some a few details of what you do and how you do, just an overview?
I'm quite a visual person, and rather than staring at me, I'm going to give. I hope everyone doesn't mind. I've got a few little pictures and things to share with people.
Okay.
You actually get to see a diary, and I don't know. You know, even if you worked out a screenshot, you might get some screenshots of what. But you're recording this, Lloyd? Is it being?
I am recording this. Yes, this is being recorded.
Fantastic.
So I will be able to share this with everyone.
I've got host disabled attendee screen sharing. So do you want to allow me to share?
Let's just have a look at that. Where is Derek Thomas? I can't even see. Allow participants to.
Yeah, if you let us all share it, Lloyd, and then it probably will include me, I think.
Okay, I'm trying to find you. Are you signed in as Derek?
Oh, I'm not sure actually who I've signed in as.
Ladies and gentlemen, just speak amongst yourself while we sort this out. Let me just go here actually. Allow
Multiple sharing.
Okay, what I'm going to do is just going to make you a host. So try it now.
Okay. Yes, we've got it. There we go. And I'm going to share that up then. I don't know if you can all see that, but there is that. Oh, sorry, I've left an old slide there. But one thing I just wanted to start off with was that finding time. What you're going to do in that time as well. There was an activity there. That was actually me, Lloyd, if you believe it or not.
Yeah, I recognise you. That was a long time ago.
A few pounds heavier. And we're one of the very first convertible minis. So we were doing a wham there. That's the
Stuart Jones with you.
That is Stuart Jones, yes.
Wow.
Jones there. But yeah, so the one thing I will say is that, you know, if you need to make some big changes, you need to do some big activity as well. And so one of the things we did do, I was involved in a few things in the early days. Winter Minis, definitely. As you knew, I didn't have any friends, so I did a lot of neighbourhood letters. And then I did decide to go and talk to some of my friends, and guess what? They joined. So yeah, I went around it sort of a very sort of back to front system. But the couple of things here, I sort of looked at this as just working an extra hour of overtime, because let's be honest, most of us, if we've got jobs already, it's sort of you've. And this, I think this is really important, that a lot of people talk about escaping the rat race, and really sort of negging the valuable jobs that we do as individuals. And I think we need to move away from that culture. You know, a police officer doing his job well is not in a rat race. Someone who is serving someone in a supermarket is not in a rat race. They are doing a really worthwhile job. And you know, I think in this new gig economy, that if we look at how just adding an hour of overtime or a couple of hours of overtime, whether that's 5 hours in a week, 10 hours in a week, this is how we should be considering it. And those jobs are paying the bills, aren't they? So, and they're allowing us to pursue our goals as well. So I just think a couple of things I put here, you know, just look at the time that you're going to be able to squeeze in, and also know why you're going to do it. I mean, I'll share with you in a minute. the whys that I had when I started, because running a school is not easy. 300 children. To do something extra on top of that, you've got to have a big reason why you want to do that. And I've just said, if you won't set your own goals, you might as well resign yourself to the fact that gravity is going to get you. Someone once told me that, you can, if you jump into a fast-flowing stream, you'll just flow down, and that comes out into a very muddy, sticky estuary. You have to paddle against the stream to reach the areas that normally not many people get to. And talking about gravity getting you, you see, once you've got some goals aligned as well, that you want to achieve in a time scale, it's interesting, because I don't know about you, Lloyd, but the feeling of when they land when those hampers arrive on their doorsteps in when was it? Probably mid December or just before Christmas. I mean, it really does make you feel good, and in fact, it makes you feel so good that your next target or your next goal is probably a lot bigger and a lot more valuable than that one. And I think this is what happens, that it's like these satellites. You can't get them out to Saturn in one fling. They actually use the gravitational pull of the other planets to sling them further out into space. So as I said, keep going for these targets, and you'll be slinging yourself out into national network leader land as a result of pursuing them. So gravity, trying to not let gravity pull you down. Keep setting new goals, new targets, achieve them, make them bigger. And this is the one thing. This is probably the biggest killer of time, of all time. That is TV. And I think it's probably now second in the league, because when I did this was about 2007, Lloyd. Okay. And in 2007, we didn't have social media.
No.
And I would absolutely, categorically state that the biggest time killer at the moment is social media.
Yeah.
Definitely. Flipping through social media, hours and hours. So somewhere you've got to find this time, this hour of overtime, that you're going to apply some very, very good activities to. So this is interesting. This was my computer in about 2007. And there were some goals I set there, because every time I came onto the computer, I would see this straight away. And it was interesting to walk away from my job in September 2012 if I want to. At that point in time, I loved what I was doing. I enjoyed what I was doing. It wasn't something I wanted to run away from. There's an interesting one there, Lloyd. Watch Man City versus Liverpool with James.
How did that work out last season?
I think that game was a 1-1 draw, actually.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I think Jimmy Chapman came to me on that game as well.
Oh, okay.
But I just think, many of these goals and targets, we've actually smashed. They've actually been achieved. Talking about this sort of the business about setting a goal in a time scale, working towards it. It's so powerful. But the thing about this business, because we're doing it part-time, we tend to sort of treat it like it's not our serious business or our serious work. And I think we have to make a distinction here that just because we're doing it only a couple of hours a week, as long as we treat it as a serious business, that's what we need to do. And I've put up here, a lot of IDs fail to get their business off the ground because they fail to apply a time slot for their business. It's a bit like having a shop and you want to sell, I don't know, you're selling expensive handbags. I'm looking at you there, Lloyd. You're selling expensive handbags. If you don't open the shop, you're not going to sell any unless you've got a really good deal with Amazon going and they're doing a lot of the moving for you. So when you open for business, and if you can only do an hour or 2 hours, well, do it, plan it, but do it regularly. and I just say that another thing as well, on a Sunday, I mean, this is a Sunday evening, one of the things I used to do was I would sit down with my diary and I'd plan the week ahead.
Okay.
And spending half an hour planning is going to save you hours and hours of just reacting, is what I was doing a lot of, just reacting to that phone call from Angela to say I'd abandoned my son in a park in Cardiff at the age of 8. This is too depressing. This is about, if we live to 80 odd, we've got 4,000 weeks to do it all. So, as I say, we can't control this, but make sure that you plan well. You're going to enjoy the journey more. So look at that, 2007.
Wow.
Was one of my early diaries there, and I had a system going there, and I did share this with a few people. Unfortunately, I couldn't rub these out. These aren't the new Frixel pens that you can actually rub out.
Right.
But the yellow stuff was all school. So this was all, that's what I had to do. And you can see 5:30. Sometimes I would have meetings. All the purple stuff, or is that purple or pink? That was all my utility warehouse. And then some of the green stuff was my family stuff. And just one thing I wanted to share on this now is that most of the school stuff I've replaced with UW stuff, and in terms of supporting team. Okay. That's what I'm able to do now, is to work with team members. I had someone come by yesterday, a guy who joined my business 18 years ago, and we made a plan. He's coming back into the business and brought his wife along, and that's why it's going to work now, because his wife's helping it. But I've replaced the yellow, as I said, with UW stuff. But there was one thing missing from this, and I just want to emphasize that to everybody here, that it's the blue for you. And I think, and it's so important, that if we're to be effective in our job, in what we do, in our work, in supporting the team, getting customers, we need to be in good shape. And I always say, whether it's just a 20-minute walk, or whether it's a half an hour swim, or whether just some activity to invest in our own well-being, I think that is time well invested. So
I see there you've got colour code in there. Was that a deliberate ploy, or did that just evolve?
If I spend, as I said, I'm a visual person, but for me, by colour coding it, the one thing I could do there is I could see a balance. So, for instance, apart from the bottom part are just notes. But as you can see that I've got a bit of school, I've got a bit of utility warehouse, I've got a bit of family stuff. It's very easy to glance across that week to say, do you know what? If I was, paying me to do my utility warehouse stuff, would I be pleased with the amount of work that I was doing? And yeah, I suppose I would be. I'm doing something virtually every day.
Yeah.
I'm covering my schoolwork, and also I've given the family a bit of time as well. And there were times, and I haven't got an example there, but when the green disappeared for family, that's probably when I felt under the most pressure.
Right.
Because that's where you get the silent periods, that's where you get the stares, that's where you get the tucks.
Yeah.
It's because you're missing out on something important. So, and again,
so you do need a balance.
Absolutely, I would say you definitely need a balance. And as I said, the only thing missing from there really is, and I did start to introduce it. I used to sometimes go for a swim in the morning before school,
right.
But the secret is balance. I don't know if you ever. There's a famous wheel that each of the spokes represent a different aspect of your life, and you sort of give yourself a mark out of 10 on it, whether it's finance, family, whether it's social, whatever, and then you try and then join up all the all the points, and it's meant to look like a bicycle wheel.
Yeah.
But inevitably it doesn't. It looks more like something that's come down a very bumpy staircase.
Yeah. Okay.
So balance is key, and also one thing. I mean, you're moving across from here. I've got pigs here, and I haven't shown it on here, but I would certainly introduce now my pigs on the beginning of the week. And what we mean by
your stats of where your business is at, anyway.
Yeah, so presentations, how many presentations are you doing a week? Because at the end of the day, great to do all that planning.
Yeah.
It's great to be meeting people, but are you actually presenting the business? Are you actually showing somebody the business? Not to sign up, but literally just showing them what you do and why you're doing it. So always keep a track of the number of presentations. And I would say if, Craig Casey will say this as well. If you were doing 5 presentations a week, you would be earning a couple of £1,000 a month.
Okay.
Literally from the whams and winner minis that they do. So looking at pigs, then obviously that stands for your personal customers. I stands for independent distributors. D stands for group, your group customers, and S stands for services. What we mean by services is the number of services bought in by you and your team. And by just comparing stats, I mean, we've just coming to the end of our month in terms of activity, and it's been an amazing month. I don't know about you, Lloyd, but the figure's been absolutely fantastic. People are out there; they're bringing in new partners. This new supportive quip people are getting now. Suddenly, there's purpose in going out with people, getting them going. So yeah, keep your stats going, and I got the pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regrets weighs tons, and that is so true, because I felt it yesterday. I met this chap who joined me 18 years ago, and you know where we are today, Lloyd, with the business. Yeah. Fantastic team, it's growing. I mean, I'm really, they don't need me anymore, but because we've got some great leaders within our organisation. But this chap still desperately is needing to get things going. Hasn't got a pension, is struggling, has had to close down his business, and that weighs tons, doesn't it? When you're thinking, do you know what? If I'd stuck with Derek all those years ago and kept going, you never know where he might be today. So, but he's doing it. He's coming back. He wants to do it again. So,
well, that's the main thing, because timing's the most important thing. So, at least he's got the mindset to come back and let's go again. So that's good. It's interesting, because when it comes to consistency and stuff, once you're in motion, it's actually easier to stay in motion than stop and put it down and then look to come back again and whatever. So once you're in momentum, once you're in motion, just stay in motion, just keep going, and it's a lot easier than stopping.
So you did listen in the physics lessons then, Lloyd?
Is that physics, is it?
So, and I've got here just, if the more you do, the more confident you get. It's a fact that the more you get used to doing something, the more confident you get, the more that comes across. And at the moment you start achieving things, you just feel good. You feel you're achieving. You feel you're moving forward. And it's about just believing in yourself. And this is key. Don't ever let anyone diminish your focus and stand in the way of what you've got planned. And sometimes, in your diary, you've got things and you get people calling and they want you to do things for them. You just have to say, I've got an appointment already, I can't shift it. But if you can give me a couple of options next week, I can fit you in. I definitely would love to help you out with that. So often we jump, don't we, to, so once you've written your diary and your plan out and it's there, it's much easier to actually just say, actually, I've got something planned. I would love to help you out with that, but it will have to be next week. If you've got nothing in the diary, with lots of things to do but nothing written down, it's harder to turn people down, and then you're just adding to your frustration, to your ever busy week. And I've got there JDI. It stands for Just Do It. We often think about planning, but as I mentioned, it mad. Just action. Just as you mentioned, Lloyd, just take action, do it. And make that call, send that text, go for that appointment, and once you've got one, do another one straight after. Go for another one, because it's addictive. This business is addictive once you start seeing your results coming through. Last bit there, and I love this bit. Jim Rohn, probably one of my most influential mentors in terms of my mindset through the years, is that if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you're going to fall into someone else's plan, and guess what? They have planned for you. Not much. And it's so true, isn't it? I think I often think, looking back at the LEA, that you are a cog in an organisation until you're rusting up and not working very well, and that's when they either, I don't know, I don't even think they had a bottle of oil or whatever to lubricate, but then often or not, you just pulled out and a new one gets popped in, and they certainly don't look after you once you've left. So prioritize, make sure you know what you're doing with yourself and your family and the things that you want, and just work towards them.
So a couple of things I just want to pick up on, and it reminded me of some of the things I do in your diary when planning the events going forward. One of the things I used to do was, first of all, make sure all my local ops were in the diary, all the major events were in the diary and stuff like that. And if somebody said to me, oh, I'd like to do an appointment, and it clashed with an op, I wouldn't do the appointment. I'd rearrange it. Because for me, the op was the most important thing. That was my learning, that was my association, that was where I got the energy from. Did you do a similar thing when you were planning forward, say, weeks and months ahead?
Absolutely, Lloyd. I mean, it's so much easier now, isn't it, with the portal? All these events are listed. But I think we need to look ahead. We need to take that information and put it into a diary form. I run a dual system, and there is there is evidence that the fact that you write it down in terms of handwriting, colour it in, or whatever you do with it, that actually becomes a stronger image in your brain than not putting it down and just leaving it on your phone. And it's a simple system. I mean, I've just bought an iPhone, which was very, very expensive. A diary is a couple of quid. So,
yeah. Well, I was going to ask that, because obviously you did that in 2007, when I don't think there were too many smartphones around. And now I run my diary out of my phone. Can you do a similar thing with your phone?
You can, Lloyd. You can color code. You can have different diary options, different colors for your digital diary. And I, as I said, I will always encourage people to dual up, because it's I've got my list in my diary, at the back of my diary as well. I've got all the names and numbers of people I'm calling. They tend to be tucked away on sort of online databases, and it's not always duplicatable. Not everybody is up with the tech, but we can all write. And you know what? When you've got some nice colours, it's really therapeutic colouring in your activities as well. but yeah, I think you know, taking the information in terms of events and planning them in is it's so important. And I will look through my diary this week, and I will find out where the gaps are, and then I would duplicate it onto my iPhone as well, so I get some reminders, so I can add people into that, because you can add people into an event as well on your electronic diary.
So you mentioned something there. If you've got your diary and you've got available time and you've got some gaps in it, which you can allocate to utility warehouse, what would be your plan then to fill those gaps up?
Well, I mean, the key thing, if you've got gaps in there and you need to be showing the presentation, I would certainly be, that would be a priority, would be to have appointments going forward in the week. Is that what you're referring to, Lloyd? Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things I used to have, and I still do, are sessions that are specifically around making appointments. So it could be that I'd block out one evening and say, right, I'm going to spend that time with my list, with my WAM leads or whatever, and actually make appointments for the next couple of weeks to fill out those gaps.
Yeah.
Is that similar to what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we've got quite a prolific guy in the team at the moment, a guy called Tahir Karim. And I was up there last week. We all met up at the Bessemer Hotel, which is just outside Cardiff. And what we were doing is using that morning slot, 2 hours, to actually do phone calls.
Okay.
And it wasn't a call center, but you know what? It's encouraging to see other people doing the same things. I know others have coffee and cake sessions, and others sort of they do these phone blasts and things. But it's nice collectively getting together to do that, and if that was good, that's a really good way of encouraging each other.
Cool. So what would you say I know we've covered people who've got less time, you know, busy people and stuff like that, and I think there's a saying we've got in utility warehouse about building the business in the nooks and crannies of time. What has been your experience in using those little 10 minutes here and a minute here and stuff like that?
Well, one of the key things for me is that when I was doing neighbourhood letters and things, I would use the lunchtime. I would do a lunch duty, and then afterwards I would walk across the road to the local Spar to grab my sandwich. Now I could have bought a sandwich to school,
right?
But I purposely did that because on the way over to the Spar, I would make a call, make an appointment, which was in my own time. And it was away from children. And you know, whether you've got young children or whatever, I don't know what happens when you pick up a phone and you've got young children near you, but they go from angels to demons instantly, don't they? They sort of, they've got your very best sort of china, and they're sort of is hovering over the granite mantelpiece the moment they see you on the phone. So just having some time to yourself to make those calls is great. And I used to do that. It used to be just literally 10 minutes to make 1 or 2 calls to see someone on the way home.
Cool. And one of the things, I mean, it's the 29th of the month, you know, just tomorrow is the end of the month. We've all got targets for Epsom or one of the holidays. And sometimes we find ourselves with that last minute rush, you know, having to still need 4 points on the last day. And if you're Hazel Thomas, still needing 4 points when it's 10 to midnight and stuff like that. How do we avoid those sort of like really stressful times? Is that down to planning?
It is, and I would say it's. They call it. There's a really good book out called Eat That Frog, and it means get the hardest tasks done in the day, not the easiest one. You know, you get your list, to-do list. You always tick off the easy ones, the easy wins. Eat That Frog's about tackling the most difficult one, and that's what I would do. The most difficult thing is getting those calls early on in the month. Bite the bullet. literally just get the hardest tasks done. What about your chicken list? Who's that person you've always been meaning to call? You've been putting them off and off and off and off, and then you see them in a panic-stricken state because it's like 2 minutes to midnight, and they're not seeing the best side of you either.
And finally, because I'm conscious of time, one of the tips I've heard, I think I might have heard it from you actually, is always have 5 appointments in the diary. So you're not struggling for staff and whatever. And as soon as you do an appointment, make another appointment to build it back up to 5. Is that something that you've done over the years?
Absolutely, because you can guarantee someone is going to cancel. So, you know, you always have that list, you know, the week to view diary. I always have a couple of people on the side of that list there that I could call to replace or to put into the diary for the following week. But as I say, 5 appointments. If you go for 5 appointments and you're literally looking at 5 15-minute presentations, you're going to get 1 or 2 people joining your business as a customer or as a new team member. And it's just the facts. And if you do that, Lloyd, you would be on all the holidays, you'd have all the hampers, you would have all the, you could probably be a gambling, you know, Epsom every year. I'm not sure whether, they give you your own money, don't they, to do that?
They do, they give you spending money as well. Cool. Well, thank you very much for that, Derek. It's been absolutely fantastic. One of the my most favourite sayings is that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So with that in mind, what I would say to everyone is go away, have a hard sort of look at what you're doing and how you're doing it, and find something that works for you, that's effective, that you can make use of your time, fill in those gaps. And you know, you may have to put aside some things. You may have to watch less TV. You may have to, you know, play less sport for a short period of time until you actually go and build your business, which will actually buy back your time and give you lots and lots of time going in the future. So, Derek, thank you very much for your time. Any final top tips for you?
Just get excited about what you've got, and just go out there and share it with as many people as you can.
Fantastic. Thank you for coming on the call, and we'll all see you soon, and go out there and get those hampers, those holidays, that money, those points and everything like that, and we'll see you at the top. Thank you very much.
Thank you.